all women.
Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. How's everybody doing today?
Great. Ready for another Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Thanks for everybody for showing up here this morning. And if you're listening to it on replay, whenever you're listening to it, thank you for being here with us.
So, Mark, I have a question for you. Your quote way back when was, "You're either playing hurt or you're playing injured."
Well, no, you're either hurt or you're injured, right? You can't
Okay.
play injured. If you're injured, you're out.
Okay.
So when you get up every day, you have to ask yourself, am I hurt or am I injured?
I am playing hurt today. I am fighting through. First of all, thank you to Jake, because Jake, when we got done with our meeting and then he got done with your meeting, he said, "Hey, you need anything?" And I said, chicken noodle soup would be great. So I had chicken noodle soup, Dayquil, and hot tea. And it was a beautiful thing. So
recovery.
Then I got up, I did a light workout with him, steam shower, all that, ready to go stuff. So Lori sent me a text last night, which she does often, and I love that.
It's like at 11, 12 o'clock usually.
She knows I'm sleeping, but she sent me a quote. She did not send who did the quote. She just goes, here's something like, here's the thing, you don't have to only listen to Deion Sanders. If you don't like Deion Sanders, which I think he's polarizing, you could be.
A lot of people who don't like Deion.
Correct. But what he says, I like, so when he talks about confidence, that stuff that we've talked about don't let, it's all about your insecurities. Well, she sends me something very intriguing, but doesn't say who it is. So this morning I said, great quote. Who is it? It's Sarah Blakely. So boom, there's Sarah. Repeat after me. Never dim your light to make someone more comfortable. So she basically says the same exact thing as him, coming from a female perspective. So Lori, shout out to you, but comment on it.
Yeah, no, I love, and in the one line in there says, if they think you're too bright, too big, too loud, too smart, too confident, too funny, it's a reflection of their own insecurities. The world needs you to shine bright. So, and Deion Sanders says, right, don't let my confidence offend your insecurities. And I think she says, specifically women, we tend to not want to be categorized, right, as the bitch or the relentless one or whatever, which is why I picked that name for my company, because I'm leaning into it. You know what? Just like she said.
I find, so first of all, for those who don't know, Sarah is married to Jesse Itzler. So you talk about a power couple. Imagine what goes on at dinner in their house. But she's just such a great story of somebody who had persistence and, stayed at what she did. She recently sold the majority share of her company, first time they've taken in money, to Blackstone. But she is all about women leadership. Mm-hmm. She made it a stipulation that the board of her company remain all women. How about that? And she is very all about funding women's organizations. But I would say that whether you're male or female, I think when people show up with strength and confidence, it does offend other people. And that is truly their insecurities. I don't know that it's male, female. I think it's in general. Mark, your thought?
Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely it's tougher for females to come off with confidence and to come off with,
bullshit.
No,
that's a reality that you have to talk about. Which we did talk about last year. We'll talk about again at the Women's Summit this year. But I think if somebody rubs you the wrong way because they're being who they are, then you have to check yourself, right? Yes. Like, if somebody being out there or somebody being confident and somebody talking about their confidence bothers you, then you have the problem, right? Because there's nothing that they could be doing that's talking about themselves or what they want to do or how they want to do it or how they go about their business that should offend you, because it's got nothing to do with you. It's got everything to do with them and who they are and what they do and how they do it. And that should never bother.
There is another side to that, though. There are people who show up and they're not genuine and authentically showing up with confidence. They're actually, their ego is, basically putting themselves out there in a disingenuous way. And you can see that a mile away. So whether it's male or female, if you're not showing up genuine,
talking about what you do as opposed to talking about how you do something are two very different things.
Right.
So if you are bragging on accolades and you are talking about results and you're being braggadocious about the way that you talk about, what, instead of talking about the how. If you listen to Dion, he talks about how. Talks about what the expectation is and what has to happen or how it has to happen and all of the behaviors that are associated with being excellent. So like, to me, it's what's the context of what you're talking about? What's the content of what you're talking about? And at the end of the day, like, there's no way that I should be allowing somebody else and the way they operate to make me feel uncomfortable if I'm secure in myself.
Love it.
That's the last part is the most important part. If I am secure in myself.
Right.
Which
that is the key. There's so many people who come from a place of jealousy and a place of insecurity. And they try to put it back on us. And we have to make conscious decisions. And thank you, Mark, for recognizing, and I know you were kidding, Steve, that it is more prevalent in women. Men are expected to be strong and confident, right? It's just how we kind of grew up. But so anyway.
Yeah, I love the whole conversation. I really do. But the caveat here is that everybody experiences fear and doubt. I don't care how confident you show up. Fear and doubt are human emotions that the best of the best have built a toolbox to counteract that. Mark, you talked about guys throwing up, before they went out on the field, players and coaches and whatever, that adrenaline, that there is something there that you need to manage. And I think that's the other side of confidence is like, preparation, and you guys have gone at this a long time. Self-awareness,
right?
Really
yeah. Understanding how to communicate is the next part of it,
well,
right?
We are off to a fiery start this morning. We haven't even woken this thing up, so let's wake up. We'll go back to Lori's conversation and Mark's conversation about compensation, because we do keep score, and when you do well, you get paid well. Wake up, everybody! So, by the way, congratulations, guys. What a way to start the show. I mean, he's talking about lighting a time bomb. The energy is incredible. So let's go back to this conversation about compensation / incentive. And I'll pull it back to the conversation I had with the group that I spoke to this week. They're competing against, from a salary perspective, against Starbucks, Hooters, whatever. In that range of what can I make? So, and then I had this conversation with one of my clients yesterday who said they're competing with academia. They're another philanthropic organization where raising money in academics they get paid more than philanthropy. So, thoughts on how to pay people?
Well, I think you have to think about the way you look at the word pay and recognize that not everybody is financially motivated. It's not a money conversation for everybody. So like Lori talked about, well, there's, what are the tools in our toolbox? There's PTO and there's work from home and there's, or the hybrid work environment. But also a lot of people, it's about equity in the business, not necessarily in sense of true ownership and equity in dollar amount or in stock options, but equity in how do I get to make an impact here? Where's my ownership? What do I get responsibility for? What do I get to have my own blank canvas on? So I think before you enter into a pay conversation, you have to figure out what people really value in terms of their career and their growth, and then try to structure it creatively based on the things that are important to them.
I think Lori's loading up to get with a right hand. Boom, here it comes.
So I call bullshit.
Yeah,
That's
girl.
what
Okay.
I call bullshit.
We have to have another slide that
And
Shane.
here's why. People say that. I'm saying this from experience of leading teams in the last 3 organizations. People say it's not all about money. It's about the flexibility. It's about the PTO. Guess what? It's about all of it.
Yeah.
If they don't just want
totally.
that
I'm
and
not
not
saying
wanna
there's
get
no
paid.
financial component to it. I'm just saying that's not the main driver for everybody.
No, but you know what? I disagree. That's what they say to us because they don't want to sound, sometimes they don't always want to sound like money is the driving factor. Okay. Right. They want to come off more humble or whatever, which I respect. I totally respect, because going in saying I want more money is obnoxious, right? Let's face it. But if I go in saying, yeah, the money is important to me, but all these other things are so much more important to me or are equally as important to me, I have watched it. And then it becomes, I need more. I want more incentives. I want more PTO. I want more money. I want more bonus. And then I got, well, my evaluation drives my bonus. So I need to, when I do my self-evaluation, I have to give myself all 5s because otherwise I won't get the bonus. That's a clear sign, right? That it's all about, that is about money. So they call bullshit because let's just be honest. It is absolutely, for most people, I'm not saying everybody, but for most, my opinion is, from my experience, it is money is the driving factor.
And you
but
are
they
showing
want all
up
of
as
it.
a confident woman sharing that opinion. So
I'm
Yeah,
letting my light shine.
I'm not arguing that most people it's not the driver for. All I'm saying is you said yesterday business hasn't caught up to where or sports organizations are structured in how they compensate people, right? Well, in order for us to keep up, in order for us to move, you got to be willing to look at it differently. And the problem with the majority of the way we do things is that we just keep looking at it the same way. And we're not looking at it from another side of the table, or we're going, well, this is what my experience has told me up to this point. So this is the solution I'm going to create for it. And all I'm saying is we just got to look at it differently.
So let me share this. Let me share this. So Laura, you said people are programmed to come in and ask for more. It is self-defeating if you don't get more. More. I need more. I need more. You are frowned upon if you say, here's where I'm good. I'm comfortable. I like working here. I'm fulfilled. It's good for me. Society looks at you like you're a loser because you can't stay here. You have to be moving forward or you're moving backward. So I think inherently people are programmed by society to want more. That puts a stress on businesses to say your position does not warrant more. Running backs are feeling that right now. They're going, listen,
right?
But
we have all this money, but we're not going to pay that position more. So it inherently goes against the grain. And here's how I fixed it and on the ball early on. And I was thought of as either crazy or innovative. But I said, listen, I'm in an entrepreneurial boat. If we don't do new business and raise the bar, we go away. Nobody gets paid. So I said, here's what we need to do. And if we go above that, I'm willing to share that with the organization. Not all of it, everything above what we needed to do. And I called it the partner program. Shay will, attest to it that we.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Well done, Shay. Well done, Shay.
Very good. So that
love it, Shay. Good one.
But Shay has stayed with us, and the only way Shay could grow or to earn more was to be part of the top line, not on his own bucket. He shared, he got his, and then where he really saw growth was top line. We did this, so I shared in that.
It doesn't work in every company, right? And when you're a smaller entrepreneur, right, or a company, I mean, listen, on the ball compared to a, whatever, some big conglomerate, or
Sure,
compared to a
Fortune 500.
nonprofit, you can do that. Nonprofits, their hands are tied. Number one, we cannot give commission, right? So there are laws that guide us. Number one.
But
there's
Number two,
incentives.
right. But there's bonuses. We can't do a percentage of what you bring in, that kind of thing. So we have to be careful how we word it. But you talked about Messi yesterday getting all these incentives. And at the end of the day, they were all money. Okay.
Sure.
Apple subscriptions, right? A piece of the stuff that's sold. We don't have that in a lot of companies, especially if you're a service company. Maybe there's something, but I'm just saying we don't have the same opportunities.
So I disagree wholeheartedly.
Well, definitely not with nonprofit.
Forget about nonprofit. Every business is trying to drive higher top line revenue. So forget about what you do, what your widget is. If you say, okay, line, we go and grow the business 10%, which is what Mark's mantra is. Mark said, I don't care about hockey stick. I want to do 10% year over year. If you say, I'm willing to take 1% of that growth, if we hit a 10% growth, I'm giving 1% back. Every single company can do that because they do. The bigger the company, they have stock options, they have 401k, they have lots of ways to compensate people based on top line bonus. We hit this, there's a give back. Would you rather, and I used to say this, and I still do, if you grow the business, what percentage of that business are you willing to share back with the people who made it happen? You can't do it alone.
Well, Lori, where's the hiccup in that for you, for a nonprofit?
Well, we can't give stock. We don't have stock options, right?
Right. There's no stock options, but there's revenue.
There's revenue, but you can't take, in other words, like you guys can take the revenue out of your business and pay and give it to yourselves, right?
Sure.
Or give it to the employees. We can't do that, right?
It has to go into
we can do bonuses, we can do salaries, but I will also tell you that it's very scrutinized by donors because everything we do is public record.
So there is some optics to it, depending on the category you're in, and real innovation will come when someone says, look at your own business and how you incent people. Why would you do it differently in philanthropy?
I agree with you, and it is changing.
Good.
But I still go back to, at the end of the day, what I have seen from the people that work in at least in nonprofits, because I can only speak to that for the last few years, right? Corporate years ago. While they talk about 401k and they talk about PTO, and I think it was Jonathan who talked about flexibility. Okay, Jonathan, if I say to you, okay, flexibility is really important to you, so we're not going to give a bonus or anything this year. We're going to do flexibility. At the end of the day, look, money is
that's asinine to say that, though, Lori. Like, why would it be all or nothing? What I'm saying is
bullshit coming on. I feel a bullshit. Come on, shit.
I think the
bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit.
To me, to structure everybody's bonus the same way is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to do. If everybody's bonus was structured based on the thing that was important to them, if Jonathan Aaron says to me, the two things that are most important to me are more paid time off and flexibility of where I work from, then I'm going to say, great. 90% of your bonus then is going to be given to you in time off and in workplace flexibility. The other 10% will be in compensation. And he goes, whoa. I don't want that much. What if we did it 50-50? What if you took the financial value and gave me half of that in PTO and half of that in actual dollars? I'd be happy, which would not be the same conversation that says for somebody who says, I want to come to work every day. I don't ever want to take a vacation because I don't like vacations. I want everything in monetary value. Those people could be in the exact same role in the organization. and they would have very different structured bonuses that would allow you to feed that person the way they want to be fed, which would change the way somebody operates inside of an
So
organization.
here's an interesting thing. So right now, there's very little negotiation that employees have. They can't really do that.
Right.
Real innovation would be, hey, talk to my agent.
Right.
Well, I don't know if that's true anymore about negotiation. I think COVID changed that. I think employees are absolutely negotiating these days. It was not like that before COVID, in my opinion. But I mean, maybe you had one or two people who would come and negotiate, but it is the norm now for people to do that. So I don't know that that's true. But listen, I just think that, look, there are studies that people use, right, for compensation so that people are paid fairly. The sad part, Mark, is that when it's a company, when there's, even if it's 40, 50 people, they all talk to each other,
Of course.
right? And so if I'm incentivizing you one way and I'm incentivizing somebody else another way, and I hear this, well, why do the development people get a bigger bonus? Or why do the development salespeople get paid more money? Well, when you want to go raise $1 million a year or sell $1 million a year, you will make that money too. But the position that you're in doesn't warrant, right? That's not the norm.
That's the reality that you have to deal with.
I agree. But when I say that, there's more that goes with, I don't disagree with you. And we do things differently, right?
You do.
Don't do. Whatever you do on the show.
There's no do on this show.
Only bullshit.
Only bullshit. Right? Exactly.
But
the craziest thing, guys, here's the craziest thing. The show is ending. Yeah. When we started, we said, what were we going to talk about with compensation and innovation?
Right.
We just did the whole show. So, Lori, you're fine.
You know what? Fuck it. Like, who gives a shit about the 5 shifts of leadership?
That you made a good point here today, which I think is another mindset shift that has to happen in business, whereas everybody should be looked at as a free agent. Everybody should be looked at as an individual talent, and you should look at yourself that way. If you feel obligated to stay at an organization, or then you don't really understand your self-worth, or you haven't put enough development into your self-worth to warrant something that's more valuable or a different situation or something like that is a better fit for you.
So you and
I want to make one comment, and this is something I want to say, and I was going to talk about it if we had talked about the 5 shifts of leadership someday, maybe someday. But the point is, I see every single person in our company as a leader. Titles don't make leaders. Okay. Sure. So let me start with that premise. Yep. The second part is, this is not just a CEO or a senior team person, right? Conversation. We all need to be changing our mindset. Those that are getting paid, those that are making the bigger decisions, we all need to change our mindset. But I think where we are today is, what I see is, it is expected more of the C titles, right? The higher titles, that we need to make the changes. We need to make the shifts, right?
Correct.
I don't see that responsibility being talked about as much in the other levels, mid-levels and other levels.
Whose responsibility is that to foster that?
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that mindset, when I hear all these workshops and all these things about mindset, it's typically directed to the C level. We need to direct it. What I'm suggesting is, it needs to be directed and fostered at every level. Right.
Well,
yes, it's got to be at every level.
Think about this, and this is part of our coaching. We are coaching people, teaching people about an entrepreneurial mindset. Doesn't matter where in the ecosystem you fit. You could be working with and or for somebody, but still be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are betting on themselves to get results, to get whatever they want. My wish list has changed, to Jeanette's point. My wish list has changed over the years from all out money to, hey, you know, there's more to life than the money side of things. But I'll tell you what, you have a conversation with people who are not making money. It's a very different conversation.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, so all of this is relevant. All of this is about change. But if everybody in your organization had an entrepreneurial mindset and basically bet on themselves to get what they want, your organization would explode.
True.
It would be so active and so functioning because you have all people who are trying to get theirs as part of the tribe. And so
why don't we talk about, can't do it tomorrow because it's Wednesday, but at some point we should throw on the docket. We're going to talk about the entrepreneurial mindset on the show. That's a great thing.
Next,
how do we foster that? How do we foster that inside?
And part of that mindset is, okay, my bonus is not just based on my performance. It's based on the performance of the organization.
Correct.
Sounds really good, but I can tell you from experience, I watch it every day. That at the end of the day, here's what I hear. What? I met my goal.
Right.
Like, so you can't have it both ways, I guess.
That's fostering a team environment, which would be different. So.
Yes. And
great job,
money,
guys.
that's hard.
Great job. 24 minutes after the hour, no music, no nothing, just a whole
lot of bullshit.
Have a great day. We will be breaking down the blog tomorrow. So if you have not seen the blog, make sure you get over to our website and read the blog for this week, or sign up for the newsletter so it can be delivered to you right in your inbox. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's get
down.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.